Alright, for my next video here, I'm gonna, on the Apex upgrade here on the MP40 Pro core, we're going to replace the factory Sear with the Apex Sear. So start with our already disassembled pistol. You can take a punch, and from left to right, I want to remove this back pin so we can remove our rear assembly here. If you have a roll pin punch, probably best. I don't. So I'm just going to use a regular punch. Just if you have a block or any kind of I don't have a punch block, but I'm just making do with a piece of wood here. But punch your back pin out. So I'm slowly getting there. And I'll have to get a slightly longer punch so I can get that all the way through here. Okay. So our pin is out. And what you want to do is just start working this whole rear assembly out, back and forth. It's fairly tight. You might even need to use a punch or a screwdriver or something to get it started. And you can see it now. It's slowly working its way out. And just keep working this back and forth. This is only the second time I've taken this out, as I've already done the Apex Sear, but if you've taken this out, it might be a little looser, but it's probably going to be fairly tight when you do this. You get this pulled out. And then you get it off your trigger bar. And to watch, there's a little, I don't know what this piece is called, but what it's for. But you do have to watch this black plug with a little flat washer inside, or kind of attached to it, that wants to come out. So, and then that's going to be a problem during assembly, that wants sometimes to pop back out. So you can kind of lay that down, put that back in. So our next step, you can just remove your extractor. There's a small pin here we want to push out with the that's holding your Sear in. And I need to get just a slightly smaller punch. And you might kind of want to, put your finger or something in there to hold your Sear down, because there's a spring under. You push this in through. And your Sear will pop up. And there's your removal. And you replace it with your Apex here, which I've already done it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this one back in. But there's a little plunger with a spring underneath you, and to make sure that doesn't come out, just be real careful. If it does, you just have to put it back in. It pushes your tension on the bottom of your Sear. So just assemble back in reverse order. Put that in. You may have to push down so that you can get your pin back through. You might even need to maybe take a punch or something. There you go. Push on top. Get your spring tension down. And put your extractor back on. And then just put this back in your trigger bar. There's a little gap right in here that you need to get your trigger bar in. And I also want to make sure this little plunger thing over here on the left side of your pistol doesn't come out. During reassembly, so you might cant it a little bit as you're putting this back in. Then you feed your trigger bar back in there, and of course make sure you keep your extractor on there. Let me get this turned around now here. I can get a better angle on it. The one thing you might do is push your trigger back, help you get your trigger bar back in here, and back in, and then we start pushing this assembly back in, nice and snug. Put our pin back in, drive it back in the other way. It's flush, and kind of make sure you get it in just a little bit on each side, so your pin is recessed approximately the same on each side of your pistol. And we check our functionality. Seems good. We can reassemble our pistol here. Double check our trigger to make sure everything's functioning properly after assembly. And you're done. It's a pretty simple process. It's the second time I've done it, so it was a little easier, but there's all little pieces there. You got to make sure you keep your extractor connected. This little retention pin, whatever, I don't know what this is. To read and find out. Maybe somebody knows what that is. It's got a little flat backing on the back that holds in. You make sure that doesn't fall out. And of course, holding your Sear down when you're taking the pin out, so your plunger and your spring doesn't go flying. And then to put your pin back in, you're gonna have to push some tension down. But that completes your Apex Sear installation.